Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Prof. for the kind introduction. I would like to also thank the organizing committee for inviting me to speak for this session. May I have my slide, please? All right, so for today, what I'm going to talk to you is about malnutrition. What are we looking at? Single, double, or triple burden of malnutrition, starting off with the outline, defining what malnutrition is, what is single, double, or triple burden of malnutrition, and then look into the prevalence of malnutrition in the Southeast Asian region, and a little bit on the practical management for malnutrition. Based on the World Health Organization, malnutrition refers to deficiencies or excesses in nutrient intake, imbalance of essential nutrients, or impaired nutrient utilization. So it is divided into three categories, as you see from this slide: for nutrition, macronutrient-related malnutrition, as well as the overweight, obese, diet-related non-communicable disease. If we look further into the broad subforms of undernutrition, we can then divide them into wasting, which is due to low weight for height, stunting as a result of low height for age, underweight, low weight for age, as well as the vitamins and mineral deficiencies. So if we look at the definition of single, double, or triple burden of malnutrition, we are looking at basically, for single, we're looking at either one of these forms of malnutrition, either overnutrition, undernutrition, or micronutrient deficiencies happen in this individual household or population. If we look at double burden of malnutrition, we define this as a coexistence of maternal overweight and obesity along with child undernutrition within the same individual household or population. Triple burden of malnutrition refers to the coexistence of overnutrition, undernutrition, and micronutrient deficiencies. Now let's just look at the data that was published from the WHO Global Health Observatory 2019. This map actually shows us the countries with overlapping forms of stunting in children under 5, more than 20%, anemia among women of reproductive age, more than 20%, and overweight in adult women, more than 35%, the ones in the orange color. If you look at the countries over in the map, you can see that Malaysia falls into this group of triple burden as compared to the other Asian countries. Other countries that has the similar problem of triple burden, mainly coming from the African region. Now, if we look at malnutrition, it does affect all regions of the world. 149.2 million children below 5 years are noted to be having problem with stunting. 45.4 million has problem with wasting, and 38.9 million having problem with overweight. And if we go on further, looking at the Southeast Asia or Asia Pacific region from this publication in 2018, we noticed that WHO categorized the problem of stunting into very high prevalence if the prevalence is more than 30%, high prevalence if it is more between 20 to 30%, and medium prevalence if it is between 10 to 20%. If we look at the countries in Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific, most of the countries falls within the group of high prevalence and very high prevalence. As you can see from here, the arrow in the red is just to show you Malaysia with 20.7% in 2016 and Indonesia above 30% prevalence of stunting. If we then look further into the prevalence of undernutrition among those less than 5 years in the different countries from Southeast Asia, we notice that if we look at stunting, the one in the dark blue bar, most of the countries in Southeast Asia has a prevalence of above 20%, with Malaysia of 21.8 to the highest in Cambodia at 32.4%. For the problem of wasting, yes, most of the countries have prevalence less than 10%, but still wasting is an issue in Southeast Asia. This study from the UNICEF World Health Organization and World Bank Group that published their data in 2021 have shown us that more than half of all children affected by wasting live in Southern Asia, as you can see from here. And if we look further into the children who have severe wasting, you can see from here that Asia is the home to more than 3/4 of all these children, 45.4 million global, and in Asia, 31.9 million. For severe wasting, 13.6 million global, and there are 10.3 million in Asia alone. If we look at overweight, yes, in Asia, the prevalence of overweight is also high as compared to global at 5.9% for those children less than 5 years old. If we look at Indonesia and Malaysia, as well as in Australia, the prevalence is more than 10% among children less than 5 years. Now let us look at the trends of stunting, wasting, and overweight over the last 20 years. The one for stunting in orange, you can see that over the last 20 years, there is a reduction from 33.1% to 22% compared to overweight, which is almost static. The line graph on your right is just to show you the number of children with problem of stunting in orange color, overweight in blue, and then wasting in red. If we look at the difference in the upper middle income countries, it has been shown that the number of children affected by stunting over the last 20 years have halved, and the number of children with overweight has remained over the last 20 years, the one on your right side. So we can see that among the upper middle income countries, stunting really have reduced, but the overweight has been static for this group of children. If we put into the whole picture in Asia, more than half of all children under 5 who are affected with stunting lives in Asia. Of the problem with wasting in Asia, more than 2/3, which is almost 70% of them, actually live in Asia. For overweight, almost half, that is about 48% of children below 5 with problem of overweight lives in Asia. So if we look at the 2030 Sustainable Developmental Goal, it is not too bad, as I would say from here, for those countries in Asia. The one in green, if you look at the one on your right-hand side, Asia actually fare a little bit better than the global percentage. About 40% are on track compared to the one global of about 30%. For wasting and overweight, 30% of the countries in Asia actually fares better compared to the global percentage. Now let us look at the factors that can improve this situation. We know that nutrition would be the key factors to avoid the problem of stunting, wasting, as well as overweight. And one of the key factors is dietary diversity. With the improvement of dietary diversity, this will ensure children would receive all the nutrients or the non-nutrients that they need to grow and stay healthy and reach full developmental potential. It will also prevent undernutrition, including micronutrient deficiencies such as lacking in iron, zinc, or vitamin A. Improvement in dietary diversity also establish good eating habits that can persist into later years. A study by Grasgruber and his group in 2016 have shown us how important protein intake is. They actually look into the regions with 3 fundamental types of diet base, including rice, wheat, and milk. They conclude that meal height in developing countries correlates with protein quantity. Male height in developed countries correlate with protein quality. And low protein quality can explain the unexpectedly short height means in the highly developed countries of East Asia and also the wealthy Asian oil superpowers like Brunei. Let us look at the amount of protein or the number of protein intake per day in this group of countries. Globally, majority of children are eating only one type of animal source protein or not at all. The one in pink, if you notice, is the number of protein intake per day, which is 0 in pink. And you notice that the bar chart with a large number or a shade by the pink color actually coming from the Southeast Asia as well as the Western Africa. And these are the countries with the shortest population. Protein quality is also important, as I mentioned earlier. Although hundreds of amino acids are found in nature, only 20 amino acids are required to make all the proteins found in the human body. And 9 of them are essential and must be acquired through external sources of protein. And they are called the 9 essential amino acids. So protein quality is a measure of the quantity of essential amino acid and the digestibility of protein sources to fulfill the growth and maintenance of the requirements of the body. If we look at the protein quality, it is very important for it to be very efficient. We need to utilize all these amino acids, and each one of them is dependent on the availability of all the 9 essential amino acids. So when one essential amino acid, which is the limiting essential amino acid, is not provided in adequate amounts in the diet, utilization of other EAA will be limited, as you see on your left, compared to the one on the right, whereby with high quality protein, a barrel with high stiffs is there, and because of that, the utilizable essential amino acid is good compared to the one on your left. Why is this important? This is because low quality protein can lead to suboptimal growth due to the limiting essential amino acid. If a protein is inadequate for any EAA, the utilization of other EAA will be limited, hence decreasing the growth potential, as you can see on the right side. So in conclusion, I've shown you that malnutrition includes the problem with stunting, wasting, and overweight, and it can be either single, double, or triple problem even in a household or in a population. Nutrition is a key factor, especially dietary diversity during the complementary feeding practices period. And animal protein, in particular milk, is important to support growth as it contains the 9 essential amino acids. Its utilization is dependent on the availability of all the 9 essential amino acids. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to take any question at the end of the session. Thank you.